Somebody time it?
19.
I got it.
18. 17.
I got it.
Final countdown.
I'm going to do this to see how embarrassing this crowd is. Didn't work.
Oh,
Count.
okay.
Radio Statler, we
9.
set new records in Lowe's.
Fuck it, we're live.
All right.
Fuck it, we're live!
Welcome to Fuck It, We're Live, the Radio Statler story. To start off, we'd like to say that this panel will contain information and content which is not appropriate for children, those with sensible disabilities, and, well, anyone who's
Sensible
not drunk.
disabilities. Like you lost a finger, like not an important one.
If any of those things apply to you, get the fuck out. So, Radio Statler, for those of you who don't know, is a streaming radio station at Hope. Back in before 2008, we were thinking we wanted to do something to bring hope to people who couldn't make it. So a couple people came up with the idea of doing a radio station, saying, hey, let's make some cool content, talk to some speakers, make it so people feel like they're here. And Radio Statler was born. And from the beginning, well, we'll get into that later. We're going to go around and just introduce ourselves now. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm Nikgod. Hi, everybody. You might have heard me on the radio. I am the...
We apologize.
Yeah, sorry about that. I am the chief engineer, so all the gear's mine. I do all of the technical stuff, generally poorly.
He's very humble, though.
And yeah, that's me.
Hey everybody, I'm TechDarko. I'm the station manager emeritus, kind of. I'm one of the station founders with Nikgod, and yeah, I kind of made things happen and then kind of just hang around now and have fun.
I'm Bunny. I started.
That's Bunny.
Yeah.
I thought he was funny.
He's too pretty to be Bunny.
He's too.
I started Radio Statler with these two dudes on the other side of me. I started off doing the first 3 years as the producer and program director, and now I just come around and get drunk.
She does. I've seen it.
And so will you, shortly.
I'm Johnny Christmas, and this is one of the highlights of my life. I'm not even kidding. I've been coming to Hope since H2K. Is that longer than anyone here?
Yes.
I just like to rub that in.
Yeah, you beat me by one.
Yeah, I've been coming since H2K, and when was the first Radio Statler? Hope 5?
7.
No, Hope 7.
Oh, Hope 7. This radio station popped up, and they were doing some. They needed some content and things like that, and I was like, I go talk on the radio about some things that I've been into, and that's how I met nearly everyone at this table. And like I did a thing on the radio, and it ended up being awesome, and we had a blast, and I loved everybody involved. And like every year since then, I've spent nearly the entirety of my time at Hope hanging out around the Radio Statler booth.
He's the content bitch.
I'm the
If we
content
don't know what
bitch.
to do, we go to him.
Yeah.
Also, Johnny's perfect proof that, you may come by and see what we're about, but we'll never let you leave.
Yeah.
Never.
Like, just come check the booth out. There's always weird stuff going on there. And, like, if you have something cool to talk about, there's a decent chance we'll put you on the air and you can talk about it. Also, Bunny's making me plug my shirts. I'm giving away free Johnny Christmas shirts at the Radio Statler booth. They have my logo on the front, which you're probably not interested in, but on the back, it says my TSA keys go to 11. I'm giving a talk tomorrow night in here at 11 on the TSA. Who's familiar with the TSA keys leak? The 3D printed TSA keys? Everybody here should be. I was one of those dudes. 3 of us are doing a talk here on that tomorrow night, and we're going to be releasing the 8th and final key here tomorrow. So if you give a shit, come check it out. It'll be fun. I'm Johnny Christmas. Moving on.
I'm Stoppay. I was tricked into doing the website by Darko in 2010.
It wasn't too hard.
We said here, have a beer, and he just came through.
Every year I promise that I'm going to do the website in advance and it's going to be awesome. And every year I don't finish it until 4 in the morning the day of.
What he doesn't tell you is he doesn't start it until 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning Saturday.
There's drinking to do.
Granted, it still turns out awesome normally.
Every now and then I hop on the mic. I'm pretty good at interviewing our musical guests, and I drink too much.
Yeah. That can is American as fuck.
That's how I roll.
You're like, look at you are American as fuck. Holy shit.
I'm Beaches. I got roped into this by Nikgod at Hope 9. He was like, hey, there's this thing in New York and you should come and do it. And then I spent 3 days attached to a computer archiving audio.
You're like the mom.
I remember when you first showed up and I was like, who's the new guy? And they're like, that's Beaches. And I'm like, this poor bastard.
Yeah.
You guys are assholes.
So I'm the current production director. I do try to get most of the content put together on the air, kicked off and going, which is fun and exciting and means I get to talk to actually some really pretty cool people. But I think that's a pretty good introduction. Let's move it along.
There was 2 announcements they asked us to make. One is that following this talk at midnight in here, there's a showing of Deep Web.
That is the quietest announcement I've ever heard in my life.
Attention, midnight in Lamarr, a showing of Deep Web. Better?
Deep,
Midnight,
web,
midnight.
not throat, not...
No.
Okay.
We know where your mind goes.
I'm busy. then.
And also at midnight in Nother is going to be an open mic night.
Well,
and with that,
midnight or whenever we're done.
yeah, we may go a little long.
All right.
So,
Who's going to moderate this?
Who has booze? Raise your hand if you have booze.
A little bit.
We can't see you.
And
so
also yell.
yell if you have
That's a
booze.
there's a lot of
can't
booze
see
in here.
anything.
Good work.
It's a high
Cheers.
percentage of booze to people. I like this.
All right, so here's
we
the
have
deal.
a little game we're going to play.
Yeah. Anytime any one of us says cooter, you have to drink.
By the way, this is Cooter. Consume.
Yeah. Cooter, drink. Everyone. You're bad at this. Drink.
Seriously, come on.
There you go.
Drink.
Who brings booze in here and then won't drink? Like, what?
There you go.
You do a shot of beer.
You might have had a little bit too much already.
Yeah. Does anybody need booze?
Because we have liquor.
Here, you can have some beer. If you want some beer, come on up.
2, 3.
What the hell? Don't you guys send me the memo before starting a show? Get the fuck off
Shit!
All right, we're sorry.
All right, so as we were saying, teledildonics is an important,
I'm getting this is the only free thing I'm going to
and also,
viewers.
We have 4.
All 4?
all right, this has to last you through the entire drinking game, so don't go nuts on these. But anyway, go on. Don't mind me, I'm just bartending. I'm like the world's boringest bartender. Another beer, sir? Beer for you. Did you want a beer? All right. It's your 18th birthday. Wow, congrats. What's the drinking age in New York? 'Cause
I'm pretty sure it's 12.
Country road.
Well, Johnny plays the bartender.
Yeah, go on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
We didn't
Neo.
say it yet.
Actually, this is very bassy,
I
isn't
got
it?
4 more cups of... Take me
How
home.
much liquor do we have?
I'm going to be getting
Enough.
into your
Do- are you sure about
All
that?
right, let's
All right, I arrived to Radio Statler late.
let's talk about things.
We're gonna have to switch to
Honestly,
liquor.
All right,
so,
all right, let's talk
so
about
I've
some
done my
things.
intro.
I think that's
All right.
it. Oh, good. You.
All right, so yeah, one of the things we wanted to talk about today is
I got no tips.
you cheap bastards.
Dude, you forgot to bill them. Demand money first.
Listen,
then they
I
give
just
you
work
tips.
here. Go on.
So what have I
All right,
missed?
so in doing Statler, we've kind of subscribed to the theory.
I
of-
got a CypherCon. A CypherCon challenge going. CypherCon being my second favorite con after Hope now. CypherCon,
up
Milwaukee,
about 5
Illinois.
seconds
It's a CryptoCon disguised as a HackerCon. Come on down. I would give that advertisement every time you give me one of these.
And to think people paid in order to come to this show.
Yeah.
I know.
What schools?
All right, I'm going to stop interrupting for almost a minute. Go.
I
All right,
dare.
we got 60 seconds. All right, so in
Almost.
Radio Statler, we've kind of subscribed to the theory of fuck it, we'll do it live. That sometimes has worked out awesomely. A lot of times it has worked out with, well, let's just say we have some fun stories. And we're going to tell you some.
We are? Badass, right? Did we remember to bribe them first?
Did you not get the? You weren't in the meeting. You need to get out of here. You're not part of this.
What do you mean I'm not part of this? You got me on the list, right?
No, actually, we kind of had a meeting and we decided not to. I'm sorry.
Well, somebody's got to
Speak up, be excited.
Anyway.
Can someone bring the hook?
Oh, man. How many people here are watching the monthly podcast?
You have to vocalize. Is there
Yeah.
one?
Yeah. Check it out. There's the two.
There's a
Yeah,
few.
there's all.
There's
I
all
was
2 of
hoping
the
they'd be
viewers.
here.
Oh my God.
We do a monthly podcast. It's kind of terrible, but we have fun. So
I mean,
that's cool.
We mostly do it just to make sure that we know that everybody's alive.
Yeah, it's
for,
this.
the next
It's
show.
this every month.
It's either that or we have to put Bunny's face on the back of a milk carton. We don't see enough of you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Bunny does the new boyfriend syndrome. Where she starts dating someone new and then just disappears for like 3 months, and then comes back on month 4 like.
In a year.
That's not the point.
And applications will be accepted at the conclusion of the talk. Please form a single file line. Resumes double spaced.
So we can say the word cooter a lot. Let's talk about Radio Statler.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we've had some fun times and some interesting ones.
So I think there's a lot
Y'all
of people.
didn't drink.
Yeah, I said cooter. Start drinking. Is everybody here familiar with what Radio Statler is? No.
Is anyone here familiar with what Radio Statler was supposed to be?
What are you doing in this room?
It was supposed to not have you, but
hang on,
that's a different
who
story.
said no?
What was plan A?
Yeah.
You implied
Make
that we had
$1
a
million.
plan.
Hi, Bernie.
Bernie.
I love
Oh,
you.
yeah, we have a...
How was it named?
So, all right.
That's
That's a great question.
That's an awesome question.
Someone give this man a prize
Every
because we
time
forgot to
someone
bring
says
any.
Give him a
Statler,
challenge coin.
We didn't even have to use our
We have a
planted
Q&A
question to ask
mic.
that question.
Is this on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
That is
No.
not on.
That is not on.
I can hear you, and that's what matters.
Okay, so can you explain to us what Radio Statler is and why it was called that? And why was it formed like that?
I want to let Bunny answer that because she's the one who first explained it to me, and I went, "Oh shit."
Do you know Mr. Statler's full name? There's a plaque in here with his full name on it.
I don't.
First, middle
Maybe it
name,
wasn't
last
Bunny.
name.
It wasn't me.
We're
I
going to
might
make
have
that
told
a
you
challenge.
It
what
was
Radio
some-
Statler, what we do.
It was some pretty lady.
We don't have many of those.
All right, well, who can answer that? Do you want me to answer that?
You like drugs, go downstairs.
Let's.
Oh.
No, so
So there's still the Statler room though, right?
Wait, who in here knows why it's called Radio Statler?
Anybody?
But I want you to say it.
No?
All right, so everybody knows the hotel we're in is the Hotel Pennsylvania, right? And everybody knows why it's the Hotel Pennsylvania? I hope. Really? Across the street is friggin' Pennsylvania Station. Come on, people, get with it.
Of the Pennsylvania
Oh, I
Railroad.
thought a bunch of Dutch people got lost and needed somewhere to live.
Are you trying to educate these people?
A little.
Oh, no. For education
When they built the
purposes only.
original Penn Station across the street, the train station, at the same time, the railroad company decided to say, we want to build a hotel here. We want people to be able to come to the city. We want them to have a place to stay. We want to drive tourism and business travelers. So they built this. It was built by the same architects, the same builders. The Penn Station across the street, that's not there anymore. They decided to tear it down and build the monstrosity that's there now. But this place has miraculously survived, even,
Somehow.
yeah, I don't know. I think blood sacrifices?
By the way, if one were to go down, I think 3 levels below the hotel, 3 or 4 levels below the hotel,
Bernie,
you can
Thank-
find.
Bernie,
Thank you,
Bernie.
Bernie.
Bernie, don't.
4 levels down.
4 levels down.
Don't.
There is a secret tunnel.
This is common knowledge.
There's a
Yeah.
secret tunnel with beautiful inlaid mosaic tile work.
It's about this
that
wide.
Says 2PRR, Pennsylvania with an arrow pointing to the tunnel that goes under.
PENNA.
Pen. No,
Can-
it just says P.
Can we get back to our panel now?
Yeah.
Under the
Somebody get Bernie a drink, please.
Somebody gets ready to drink.
You can find the old tunnel that goes to the train station.
Right under it. It is really
Yeah,
cool.
and
I'll
that's part
support
of the reason
Bernie
why
in this.
these were built
Bernie,
together.
come get a beverage.
Don't.
Bernie, get a beer.
The guy who
Yeah. Hey,
managed
guys,
this.
Bernie S., ladies
give
and
it up
gentlemen.
for Bernie S., by the way, if anyone
A
is
man who
wondering.
also does radio. Very
Bernie S.
regularly.
is one of the reasons any of us are even in this room.
And you do realize that's the clearest we've ever heard him ever on a radio station, right?
Yeah, but that's not what this panel's about.
Bernie, you're one of my favorite memories of Hope, like hands down over all these years. Easily.
Please don't
Oh, yeah.
share that. It's probably obscene.
Yeah.
This is horribly derailed. Can someone just
Yeah,
say that
so-
there's a radio
all
station?
right.
The short version.
I want to take
They built
over
the
as
hotel-
moderator.
Excuse me,
The real short
excuse me.
version. They
I
built
was
the hotel.
wondering why it's called Radio Statler, and can you tell us a little bit why and why you're doing it?
So
Please.
it's called Radio Statler because the Hotel Pennsylvania was managed by a guy named Statler. When the Pennsylvania Railroad folded and sold it, it became the Hotel Statler, and it was run by the Statler Group. Then it became a whole bunch of other crap, and then it became Hotel Pennsylvania again. Long story short. Long story short. Thank you.
Yes, he
Before we get
was.
derailed again. So Radio Statler, we stream live from the con. talk to people who are here attending. We talk to speakers. We do original content. We have interesting music. We have people call in. We have people chat in via IRC. The idea is to connect the conference and the people with those who can't make it here. Sound good?
Yeah, for sure.
Holy cow.
Good answer.
Yes.
And it's
That is
archived.
excellent.
Yes.
And now we have a monthly podcast, which is really just this for an hour.
With few viewers.
And I really want to emphasize, like, my favorite part of it is that we have the IRC channel running, and you can interact with whoever's on the air via IRC, and that gets really cool and weird. It's especially great because we have a lot of listeners who can't make it here, and that's why they listen, and they can't make it here often because they don't live in this country. And so I really like that we get a lot of, like, British and European. Is Britain European? Is that,
Yeah.
Britain, like, the UK is like the Mexico of Europe. That's not valid at all.
Yeah, but at least. No, I'm not going to.
Right, we're not. And so, like, I really like that I can be on the air at 3 a.m. here talking about bullshit, and then some guy in England is like, hey, I have a question about that bullshit. And it turns into this legitimate conversation, and it's just people who can't make it here but really want to, and because we don't do we do live streaming of video now for the talks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
so-
year we were live streaming all 3 talk rooms.
That is
They were doing it last
Like
night.
right now,
Where did we
we
become
are
so
being
professional?
streamed
Like right
live.
now, there could be
shit.
people watching us.
My people of America.
Hi, Mom.
I have a question.
Whoa.
Yes,
Right
Bernie?
here.
Yes, Bernie.
Will Radio Statler be interviewing like so-called man or woman in the street type questions around the conference, go either recording or with a wireless mic or something?
Actually,
just
not
talking
this
to
year.
people. I think it's
So
a great idea.
we've tried this,
We've done that.
and there's one problem. We're really fucking lazy, and so we'll go out and we'll like record shit, and then we'll edit it, and then it'll never get aired.
I
Because it
think you
takes
saying
effort
that it
anyway.
gets edited is a little.
There's got to be.
I think we hit
various
play and then we
definitions of
stop,
edited.
And that's
we
it.
we record it, and then usually I'll listen to it, and be like, "That's really good," and then we do fuck all with it.
Why couldn't you just like get a wireless microphone and walk around and talk to people? It could be some really great
Because that
content.
makes too much
Because,
sense.
because we have a couple of reasons for it. Normally, it's because we like to be able to edit it down to make the content a little better. But at least that was the goal.
Send like a roving reporter out.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and-
Thank
and
you, Bernie.
I'm gonna step in and defend Bernie
If-
with this. Like, he's right. That's a great idea.
If
tried
so,
it?
we
yeah,
are
but-
we are
The budget?
volunteer run. So if somebody wants to do that and
Hey,
edit,
Bernie, you want to?
It sounds like Bernie has a lot of free time on his
You
hands.
can do it with a cell phone and an audio patch or something. I mean, we could do this. This could be really fun.
You do it, and we'll do it for you. Yeah, as I had.
We'll work on that.
Actually,
We can do
there's
it.
a-
We
there's
have
a
we
bit of
have
a
the
misunderstanding.
technology.
Yes.
There's a misunderstanding here. Actually, Side Pocket, for every year that he's been part of Radio
he's
Statler,
actually brought this idea to us. like,
has
pretty
ran
much
around
everything.
interviewing people.
He's not only brought the idea; he's literally done it.
Literally done it. He does the man on the street. A lot of the just random interviews we have come from Side Pocket. Thank you, Side Pocket. I love
Thank
it.
you, Side
If
Pocket.
you ever want random, he's the man.
So we're about 20 minutes into the talk, and we haven't actually gotten to start what we had planned to start talking on.
I'm not done yet.
Well,
You're done
come
now.
back to you.
Sorry for the distraction. Thanks.
Yeah.
So we wanted to start by telling you guys some of the kind of war stories we've had. So I don't know. We want to start. Bunny, you have one you want to start with?
Oh shit.
Or you want Nick to start?
Like war stories or just funny stories?
Nothing
just
incriminating.
great stories. I mean, let's start with the first year. So
the
we had
first year is where the 3 of us showed up, and well, we were
It was
talking.
more than 3 of us.
Well,
so,
we were talking about it online,
yeah,
and we were
started
planning
at
it
the
with
Hope
like
Forums.
Lex and everything else, and then it was pretty much like half the people who were planning it online didn't show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, almost nobody showed up. It was the 3 of us. Ethan, there was Ethan, who's never come back since.
We scared him off good.
And
Oh, and
Al,
Arca was there.
Yep.
Al Stroger,
Yeah.
and Lexicon.
El
Yeah.
Stroger.
Well,
Lex was kind of.
I
running
love
A&D, so-
El Stroger. El Stroger is one of my favorite parts of Hope, and I have not seen him in 6 years.
Yeah. But that's pretty much kind of how it went down, and we were just like, all right, well, let's do this.
Well, we
and
kind of went. Well, shit.
yeah, we had my gear plus his gear, so we hadn't coordinated anything ahead of the con.
So they had 2 microphones and a tape recorder.
And I brought
More
a
or
ton
less,
of
yeah.
music.
Hey. We had 2 tape recorders. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's fucking NPR up in here.
One of them was an 8-track.
It's tape.
And so we hobbled it together. We got Bunny to go around and do content. That was the year that Adam Savage was keynote speaker.
Oh, that was
And
good.
he came down and hung out and sat on our inflatable plastic couch.
Yes.
My favorite keynote speaker to date at Hope.
Yeah,
Adam
definitely.
Savage
That
of
was
Ghostbusters.
great. He
It was
was
amazing.
so excited to be here.
So
If you have not
we
seen
have a
him speak, it's
picture.
on my YouTube channel.
We have a picture of us sitting on this god-awful green inflatable plastic
Clear
couch
neon green.
with Adam Savage. It's the coolest thing ever. I remember when we were sitting here, we knew we wanted to get Adam, and we had a moment where like everybody was looking at everybody else going, you go up to him. No, you go up to him. No, I don't want to do it. You go up to it. So finally we got Bunny to go do it. And like
Bunny owned
No, we got
it.
me. Because I was security, so I used security.
Bunny
to
was
get
like, "Mr.
backstage
Savage,
with him
I need you to
convince
come
him
with
come
me."
Down. And
And
then
then-
Bunny was the one who guided him downstairs and was like, "Why don't you stay a little while and talk with us?"
and everybody else is sitting like a respectable like 20, 25 feet away, like hanging up against the escalators, like trying not to listen. And then he was like, "Yeah, sure." And we all like ran up the escalators, ran top speed. It was great.
It was like that cartoon little smoke behind you as you run off.
And I was really upset that I was not invited to that.
Well, you weren't involved yet.
I'm still. I very much was that year, but I was kind of like shunned. I was been like, well, no, this is Mr. Savage.
Sorry, Adam. We
You
love you.
weren't cool enough then. We know you've graduated since.
That was the year you called me the infosec Paris Hilton.
the parasite of infosec.
Well,
Oh, sir. First round is beards.
Don't forget that was also the years with the blinders. If I remember correctly, someone brought in the blinders.
And the
Yeah.
bacon
Yeah,
party.
they had
no.
the
Bacon
welding
was
goggles.
the cheese hour was the next
The
host.
Which I was
hour.
also
The
not
blinders,
invited
remember the
to.
goggles, the
Blackout goggles they had that year?
The welding hour.
Yeah.
The
And the
welding
welding
hour.
hour. Welding
Oh
hour.
my god.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God! Now I remember that.
Nothing
It was
makes
so
for good
fun.
radio like welding.
Yeah, that was odd.
Somewhere around.
We did some really odd stuff. I mean,
Well, yeah.
the next year.
We had the bacon and cheese hour.
Yeah, so the next year we had the bacon and cheese hour, which they brought in.
The vegetarian.
So vegetarian. I don't eat meat, by the way, and I was the one who was cooking all the bacon.
So wait. So we had this idea that we were going to do a cooking show on the radio.
Yeah, hang on. Who remembers the bacon and cheese hour?
Who remembers? Yes. Who remembers the smell of bacon wafting across the mezzanine?
Yeah, hang on. Who was drinking until 3 a.m., came back to the mezzanine level, smelled bacon, and was the angriest person alive? Oh, yeah.
So the story that you didn't hear, well, there's a lot of stories about that year, but the story that you didn't hear about the bacon hour. So that year,
We
what
ran
we
out of
decided
mics.
to do, we ran out of mics.
I brought the mics the previous year, and the place I
This is
borrowed
racist.
them from.
This is great.
They were
Strap
being,
in.
they were being sent out for repair because there was some damage, so our spares were all actually in use. So I call him and I'm like, shit, can you get some? No, can you get some? So we decided we were gonna go buy them from B&H,
Like you do.
use them for 3 days, and then return them.
Like you do. This
Now-
is not new.
Now keep in mind, if
We
you've
just
never-
call this renting.
if you
There's a word for it.
if you've never been to B&H,
Thrifty.
it's run by a very, very Orthodox Hasidic Jewish.
Watch how you say that.
They're not that very, but they are orthodox.
It's like the one
What?
the one thing where like the slur is the same as the legitimate word for it, Jew.
Anyway, so getting back on track.
Whatever.
So
You just can't put the stank on it.
and so we're returning. Thank you, Johnny.
And the code of conduct hotline is.
Send all complaints to 212-639-9675.
I said not to do
So we're returning these microphones after having held them up to the frying bacon that has bacon grease all over them.
And cheese.
Say Hasidic Jew
the
again.
smell of bacon. When we were packing them in the boxes and we're like, wow, we still smell bacon. We realized.
And this is
shit,
everybody
that's the
eating
microphone.
bacon and then sitting on the microphone like this with bacon mouth. And they just bring these boxes back to these poor Hasidic Jews.
You were going
I
to
would
I would like
make-
to return
I
this,
would like to
please.
extend my deepest condolences. To
It
the
did not
return
meet my
clergy.
expectations.
I would like to make one comment, please.
You are done.
One comment, please.
Stop.
My comment is my name is copyrighted now. Please don't say anything about me up there.
Okay.
Sit
fine.
down.
Oh, okay.
Sit down.
Does
So
anybody know who that
sit
was?
down, we'll
we
honor
won't
that.
talk about last time.
So
Stop.
so that was that story. That was pretty good.
Actually, that was also the year with the booth.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
this is
This
one
is
of
the
those
stinkiest-
stories that talks about, well, overly great plans gone very, very awry.
This seems to be a theme with us. After every year, we get these great ideas in our heads of we're gonna do this, and it's gonna be awesome, and like it's gonna be this grand thing, and
then
somehow
that
we've
kid
never been able to
died.
do anything before, but this time it's going to work. Damn it!
Uh-huh.
So our idea this year was we were
Called
gonna
a slow
build.
learning curve.
We were gonna build an isolation booth.
Like a real booth.
But
Yeah.
if you've seen
With a
our
roof.
booth now,
Not a
it's
real
it's
booth.
styrofoam
It's
and,
not.
and
it's
taped
extruded
together.
polystyrene with painter's tape and duct tape.
Yeah, if you want to be technical about it.
We build a pocket
And
door.
it's amazing.
It's pretty good. However, what we wanted to do here was actually build walls with insulation and 2x4s and drywall and plywood, and we'll have a door, and it'll we'll use pallets for the floor, and it'll be isolated, and no sound will escape.
I will say,
And no air
at
will
certain
enter.
points during the planning process, there were concerns raised.
Fuck you.
You were the one who raised some of the concerns.
So it was going to be great. We had this thing. I modeled it out in SketchUp. Mind you, I'd never built anything in my entire life
That was
before.
the
And I was
big
going to
feather
take on
boa.
this project.
Yes, that was the BOA year.
The walls were crooked.
They weighed 2.5
SketchUp
tons apiece.
represents.
They weighed about 120 pounds apiece.
They almost collapsed, as I recall.
Yeah,
Several times.
we had had this idea that we were going to use door hinges to put everything together, and you'll just like put the pin in, it'll be great. Yeah, nothing fit right. So
Who was there that year? Who remembers like the fully enclosed Radio Statler booth?
I remember having suffocation in there.
Yeah, was anybody in
Hey,
it?
we took the roof off.
We eventually had to.
Yeah.
When it
Wanna be
fell.
in that
Who
booth.
remembers when I was fat? It was before that. Oh yeah.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other
It
other
was
part
like the
of
cone of silence on Get
At
Smart.
least until we had to take the roof off because it hit like 110 degrees inside.
yeah, we didn't consider that. Then the other problem was how are we going to get this up here? The year before, we'd taken an SUV and we just loaded everything in there. This wasn't going to fit. So our brilliant idea was to rent a U-Haul and then go park it in Jersey for the conference and then come back and get it and then get the stuff and then go back. Here's what we missed. The plates on the U-Haul were expired. It had dead tags from 1995. So we go back to Jersey to pick up the truck. It's not there.
No, the trailer. That was why it got towed, was because it was a trailer.
Oh yeah, it was a trailer. So we were like, well, fuck.
Well, first we thought it was stolen.
Yeah. Just somebody stole our trailer.
Then we realized we weren't that lucky.
We called we called the impound lot, tried to get it back, but we're not the owners, so we can't get it back. We called U-Haul, was like, hey, we need another trailer. They were like, yeah, sorry, we don't have anything. So we were like, okay, what we'll do is we'll take the gear and put it in the truck that we were towing with and take that back down, and then we'll rent another U-Haul and come back up the next day and get the booth. And then we missed we hit really bad traffic on 95, and we missed the window where the loading dock was open, and it was gone. They threw it out.
It was
Maybe
for the
that
best.
was the best thing of all.
No, man, I told
No,
you you're
can't.
cut off.
Sit down.
Can I ask a very serious question?
No.
No.
Oh shit, no. Serious questions.
No.
I don't know where you think
also-
you are.
we also
The
had
RNC
another-
was yesterday.
We also
He
learned
said
another
serious.
interesting lesson about the great plans gone awry was we talked about how we should have a booth light. We should have a thing, an on-air light to tell us how, we're going to be, everyone will know we're on air and everything else. So that was me. I wired up a bunch of light bulbs and stuff and a couple of switches and tied it in and a relay, and it worked great, except for the fact that it was so fucking bright that it blinded everyone.
Yeah.
And it was bright red.
Hence
And
the
they could
beginning of a
flicker it.
tradition.
Whoever was manning the booth from the outside could control the light, and we'll just start flickering it while we're in there. It's just strobe light.
I left 80 pounds and a $200 pair of headphones in that booth. I have not gotten either back. I'm very close to one of them. You can guess.
And of course, it did make it look kind of like hell with combination with the heat and the bright
Oh yeah,
lights.
it's all red, 300 degrees, and there's pink feather boas everywhere. I had nothing to do with the pink feather boas, despite.
He lies.
How long was that thing?
It's like 30 feet.
I brought a 30-foot pink feather boa to Hope, and I filled and I brought
And
it
you
for
wonder
Bunny.
why we call you the Paris Hilton of info.
It's because I had a very classy, slinky black dress. I brought Bunny a pink feather boa with my best friend Cobalt, and she was like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do with this?" And so put it in the booth, and it filled like half the booth up. And so every if you watch the video, there was no video that year, right?
No, there wasn't.
No, just
Yeah,
photos.
so just every photograph of that booth has this just pink fucking ostrich feathers covering like ceiling to floor. Oh, and dick.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's everywhere.
And Dick, that's when we started the tradition of drawing.
Yeah.
A drawing is a loose.
Okay,
term.
well, I'm just saying, like, if you
shall we
put out a
say-
white surface and then markers,
Yeah.
there's gonna be dicks.
Everybody
I don't know
was
where you're
allowed-
from.
Everybody was given a Sharpie. You came in, you had a chat, and Radio Statler, you had a Sharpie, and you were welcome to draw whatever you want.
You were supposed to sort of
Which
sign
is
the
dicks.
fact that you were there.
Does anybody not want to draw dicks? Raise your hand.
Exactly.
This is
This is the
there
problem with our
wasn't even
audience.
one person.
Let me take a wild guess who with
You're
my
all my
eyes
best
closed.
friends now.
So yeah, that was fun that year. And by fun, I mean we all kind of wanted to kill ourselves and never do it again. But
You may want to
We
go
Well,
Well,
that was the year
yourselves.
we had the green
But
chairs.
again,
and so the green inflatable chairs took up so much room that we couldn't have a table. So if you wanted to have a conversation with like more than two people, you sat in a chair and you had your microphone like on your leg. You were just like,
But there was also people on your lap because there was no other room because that light bulb took up so much space you couldn't fit the base
that's
of
not
the
why
microphone.
girls sit in my lap, Neo.
Oh, you know what happened that year in that booth?
Aside from the cheap
Oh,
show?
no.
a few things that children should cover their ears
No,
for.
no. This is actually, I bet Sleekwa back there probably doesn't actually realize this happened. He
Sleekwa
broke my
represent?
toe in that booth.
Ooh.
What?
So Rogue Clown was doing a talk about females and hackers and yada yada, and I snuck in, and he would
Preposterous.
sneak in like right after she'd already been talking. We had these, folding chairs, and we all get sat down. And when he goes to adjust his chair, it lands right on the dead center of my middle toe, and he sits. And it's quiet, and I'm trying to be respectful, so I'm just like.
With a broken toe.
And finally, he moved, and I thought it was all good. Until later, it started like swelling, and we had to tape it, and yeah, it's all good now. But it hurt for like a year. Like,
And now
it's
she
okay.
has
It looks all normal now, and you can't tell.
We tell her that.
So we tried to learn from our mistakes, doing things like saying, "Hey,
Oh, what's this wee shit?
What is this mistake shit?
you never learn from your mistakes. It's okay." But we sat there and went, "All right, well, twice in a row we tried to build everything on site and just put everything together and not worry about it, and it went really fucking badly. I mean, surprise, surprise." So we decided, Nikgod decided, you know what? I've got some of the gear. I'll pick up some more. Darko will bring a few more, and then I'll pre-build most of it. I'll put it together in all different cases. All we have to do is come back and wire it together, and we're good to go. Not exactly what happened, though.
Yeah. So I had this idea of two cases. One was the mixer, and then the other was everything else.
Toothpaste.
Yes, sure.
Chewing gum.
And there was going to be cables connecting the two of them. Those cables didn't work. The gear inside didn't work.
Did anything work?
No, not really.
We kind of had to take everything apart and rebuild it at
Yeah.
3 in the morning.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yay, sleep deprivation.
The other thing that happened, we learned from that mistake too with the U-Haul. We said, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a U-Haul, and we're gonna do 2 one-way rentals. So we will take it up here, and then we'll rent it again and come back. And we're like,
And that will
it's gonna be-
totally solve our problem because U-Haul never, ever screws over its customers.
What
Never.
I feel like me and U-Haul are even.
So, in addition
screwing each other over.
to everything being fucked up, the streaming computer died because it got rained on. Oops. So we had to do that. We had to figure that out. We had to rebuild the mixer because the mixer died.
And then in reassembling
That was
everything, we realized that
crazy.
we
I
were trying
remember
to
that.
send stuff across multiple levels with the phone system.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the phone system.
And we went,
yeah.
oh wait.
Do you remember the year? I think it was that year. I think it was the first year we had the actual like analog phone system.
Yes.
Was that the first year or was that the
Second
second year?
year.
That was
We
with
were
the booth.
taking phone calls on the radio station.
That was the
I think
second
it was
time.
that year.
And
The
like,
first
I
time
don't know
we
if
had
any of you are
green
interested in
inflatable
starting
soda
your own
pop.
radio station, but don't ever take phone calls from the public.
God, no.
Especially if you can't hear them.
Or if you
Yes.
had to that's right, we had to
that
relay
was the
them.
lesson that we learned here was that if you hook it up wrong and you can't hear people,
You never know what they're going to say.
Also, the general public is schizophrenic.
yeah.
He is.
Oh.
Because
it
it
was
was
cheap.
free.
Have you ever parked here?
Have you ever
haven't.
parked in Manhattan?
I don't have that kind of money.
Well, here's the question. Have you ever parked in Manhattan? Did you ever decide to park again? When did you learn that you liked being anally raped?
Last time I parked in Manhattan, I left the city minus 2 mirrors. That's not even an exaggeration.
So-
That's a
You
thing.
got
And
Okay,
one
yeah.
was from the inside.
Yeah. One was a mirror, the like vanity mirror on the underside of the thing. They only took that.
So we have the U-Haul, right?
fucked
It's gonna
up.
be great. We go in, we drop it off, and then Sunday comes around, and we're gonna pick up our rental at 7 o'clock at this place in Brooklyn. We get there at 7 o'clock. They're closed. We call them. We're like, we have a reservation. They're like, oh well, the office is closed, and they're like, okay, well we can't do anything about it. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do anything about it? I'm like, we can't do anything about it. There's no trailers. You can't get anything. We're like, okay. So then we went. We spent the better part of the night that night. We were supposed to leave Sunday night.
Yeah, we were.
We spent hours
Everyone knows that never ends well.
going around. We found a U-Haul place in the city that had a van that we could rent, but we'd have to return it to the city, and we were like, fuck that. And we couldn't get U-Haul to just like make an exception for that because they fucked us over twice now.
Of course, the Boston U-Haul said, sure, come and get it.
We tried, like, we drove out
We went
to
to
the
LaGuardia,
airport
right?
to try to rent a van, and none of them would rent to any of us because
Well,
we looked like a bunch of sketchy fucking hackers.
No.
Gee, I wonder why.
So the people who had credit scores who could rent, who were above the age to rent things, had all spent their money on running Radio Statler, and the people who had money were too
And
young.
hookers. Okay, I guess that falls under running Radio Statler. I'm
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
You did
mean-
cover
I
that.
mean,
Coke,
you know.
hookers, running Radio Statler.
So long story short, we get back to the hotel at like 2 o'clock in the morning. We're like, well, we're not leaving till Monday. And then Beaches, who was supposed to ride back with us, goes, guys, I have work in the morning. So he has to go like buy a train ticket at 4 o'clock in the morning to get back to DC at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Do you work
After
at
having
Walmart?
not slept.
Like,
After
what
having not
job
slept
would not be
entire
like, all right, I
weekend.
understand.
Okay, so here's the thing about
You could just say Walmart. Like, it's okay.
So I started this job like a month before, and so I went in. I went in during the interview. I was like, listen, I have these 2 weekends that I need time off here, and this is going in. I'm going to take them unpaid. It'll be fine. So, I'm new to this company, and I'm trying to not be a huge dick by being like, hey, sorry, I got to bail.
I mean, I feel
It was
like
fucking stupid. It
I'm
was the worst.
stranded in New York as a valid excuse.
Yeah, I was
It's
young
usually
and
the start of a
stupid.
good
This was
movie,
literally my
but-
first job out of college.
What the fuck is college?
All right.
So
Anyway,
That explains him.
after that, the next year, we learned from a few of our mistakes, not many. And then we decided, you know what would be great? If we could do a better job of getting the audio from the talk rooms onto the radio so we can have people listen live and make it a lot easier. Hell, you know what we can do? We can stream every talk room's audio so everybody can listen to it, and we'll have the Radio Statler stream.
And there's one other added benefit. We don't have to come up with programming anymore. Holy cow, that was easy.
And this is why he trolls us, because he's not terrible at it, but don't tell him I said that. So we decide, hey, we'll just stick some computers in, and it'll be easy. We'll just stick them upstairs, we'll plug them in, and it'll be great. Yeah, how many of you have tried to work with networks? Now, please, not guys. This was before most of you were involved.
Like social networks?
No,
No,
like
before that.
the
Professional
IP
networks?
Anyway.
IP, internet, telephonic protocols.
Porn networks.
Things don't necessarily
Dildonics?
work the way you expect them to.
Renderhead's talking about Dildonics tomorrow.
And so we get all these things hooked up. We're all ready
He's
to go.
gonna
We're like, hey,
pretend he
great, we'll
didn't
turn
hear
these
me.
on. Why are none of them working?
Yep. That was my fault.
He owns up to it at least, so.
So at that point, we realized that like it just wasn't gonna fucking work. And this was Friday morning. We were getting ready to start, so we just had to come up with content
On the fly, which is kind of how some of the games and other things started at night, wasn't it? Because didn't we need to
around that
do
time.
some stuff?
Sort of.
Oh yeah, that was always
And
like
the
dead
I
air
brought
time
Super
on night.
Fight.
Is whatever you wanted to do.
We drag people in for interviews, you know.
So
Hi, random person on the street.
My
Where are you
favorite time
going? Not
was-
anymore.
I loved when Bernie S. showed up at like 4 a.m. after we had done like a bunch of terrible prank phone calls to a bunch
to
of
the,
terrible
to the
prank
New York
phone
City
calls.
Taxi Commission.
Johnny's
Easy,
talking.
buddy.
Jesus, dude.
Statute of limitations. Don't you know that phrase?
Yes, it's 7 years. It's been like 2. I mean 6. Yeah, and we were doing a bunch of like social engineering calls to some.
Taxis.
Places, locations around
Person.
the metropolitan New York area.
Shut up.
I mean, we
They're
do
amazing,
have it
and they
recorded
involve
in archives.
dildos.
I mean,
There's evidence.
And then Bernie S. shows up, and he's just like, let me guys show you how to do a social engineering call. And he came in, and he did like one that was incredible, and he just left.
He leaves, and everyone's there going, wow.
He's like, what are you guys even
got
doing? This is how
schooled.
you do it. And then he just like went all Schwarzenegger on like this call. And then he was like, peace. And nobody saw him again until just now. It was amazing. We never did calls on the air ever again.
We also learned that year that it's not necessarily a good idea to take a drunk speaker and put him in a room with someone with cat ears.
Was that same year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Was
Yeah,
that
that
same
was that
year?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
All I have to say is that there was a speaker who decided we had a webcam.
Not
up.
just a speaker. I guess trying to get into political.
And a respected
politics.
private investigator.
Yeah, a respected private investigator who's running for the U.S. Senate
Who
decided
Terrified
to.
of this gentleman.
Yeah, so
well,
they were like,
terrified
"Hey,"
of a artificial appendage on his head.
yeah. So they're like, "Hey, this guy, we need to interview
By the
this
way,
guy."
this was all archived.
Yeah.
On video.
Hey, here's this respected private investigator who's running for U.S. Senate who we got the chance to interview. Can you do this for us? And I said, yeah, sure, why not?
He's drunk. We convinced him to get on. Let's
Right.
go.
And so it's like what? It's like midnight. Like he's drunk as fuck. I'm drunk as fuck.
He sits down.
They
We
went
give
in
him,
with
we
more
give him
alcohol,
an
too.
entire solo cup just full of rum.
Which was a
Entirely wrong.
requirement. He had that was on his rider. He would not do the interview if we did not give him an entire solo cup full of rum. And so I'm in there already looking sort of like this, but in a blazer and more or less prominent cat ears, fuzzier cat ears, and he walks in his like 3-piece suit and his cup of rum and drunk already. And he goes, "What the fuck's with the cat ears?" and I basically give him a "don't worry about it." Like this is unimportant response. And then we start talking, and I start interviewing him. And like 2 questions in, he's like, "Man, I gotta ask, what's up with these cat ears?" And so I give him like a brief rundown of what's up with the cat ears. And then we start going back to like his shit, which is important because he's pseudo politician. Has done some amazing IR cases, like cool shit. And maybe 20 minutes in, he grabs me by the back of the fucking neck like this, and he goes, "Man, I can't handle these fucking cat ears." On the camera, like this fucking close. "I can't handle these fucking cat ears. What's going on?" And then then my time was up. I had a bruise on the back of my neck. So that's in the archive. So you guys are welcome to find that. We just don't want to call anyone out up here because we actually do like him.
I still love the grabbing you by the neck and shaking you in front of the webcam. Holding him in front of the webcam and
Yeah.
shaking him.
No, and he grabbed my neck and like pointed my face into the webcam. He goes, "What's with the why?
Fucking cat
Fucking
ears."
cat ears." So they're working. Everything is going as planned.
Johnny Christmas struck again that time.
I did not win in that. Scared the shit out. I was like a little weird for like 2 hours.
He was. It was one of the only times I've seen him look a little shell-shocked.
This is true. I did not know what he was going to do. He's larger than me. He had the back of my neck. And he was drunk and belligerent.
You looked like an albino kitten being grabbed by its mother and told, you don't go there.
Yes, that's what happened. I was just, wherever he needed me to
If you
go,
had a
that's
matching
what was
tail,
going to
it would
happen.
be all poofy. I mean,
Have you
he
guys
was
seen
shocked.
my Nicolas Cage t-shirt? I didn't
So,
expect that response.
So let's go to hope number 9. That was 9.
Well, like journalistic questions, and every
That was
answer was
10.
just.
that
What's
was-
that?
no,
Say that
right,
again.
right.
That you
He
were
has
like,
a relevant
yeah.
statement.
No, the saddest part
were
about that
discussing- we
whole
discussed
thing
7
was
and
that
8.
you were asking like actual like real journalistic questions to the guy, and like he was just like
I was trying to do a legitimate interview
yeah.
with
And he's
this
just
person.
like,
I had researched what he
"What's
has
with the
done. I was
cat
asking
ears?"
questions, and he goes, "What's with the cat ears? I can't fucking." It's amazing.
So also with that one with Hope 9 was these two decided to get something to commemorate the occasion. Matching tattoos.
It's an ugly fucking tattoo. Yeah, who is here for Hope 9?
For those who can't actually see this far, I mean, obviously it says hope, and it's got my bunny ears.
Yeah, so like we got.
My arm does not bend like this.
Her and I went. We went to a rando tattoo parlor and got matching Hope tattoos. So if you guys want a picture with a Hope tattoo,
Come find us later.
which is a thing, yeah.
Yep.
They're $5. So they're super affordable.
So we just spent like 50 minutes saying how Hope and Radio Statler have destroyed all our lives. Could we get like 10 minutes of like good, fond memories for everyone?
I mean, that was a fun memory.
I was
have
not-
a tattoo.
Yeah, we started with that. Let's keep going.
So
Yeah, okay.
we were thinking we were going to talk about some of the awesome
I
things that we learned
opened
from
with
it.
a fond memory.
Well, so we spent 50 minutes,
Fucker.
and we have like an hour thing, and don't we have like an entire other half of
Yeah.
a talk?
I thought we were going to talk about what we learned and how
We're
it helped us
milking this
grow
room.
as-
No one's in
grow
here after
as
us.
mature, responsible
You guys
adults.
don't have a bedtime.
They bought it.
Yes.
We're not drunk enough.
So
You're not drunk enough.
I mean, Cooter?
So
Yeah, that's right. Cooter,
can we
cooter,
get the
cooter.
projector feet up?
Cooter, cooter, cooter.
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 A lot of
Good.
people
Oh,
drink.
they are
That's
drinking.
good. Thank you.
You didn't tip him.
So
Here, this will take care of you.
So can we get the laptop up on the projector?
Johnny.
Go.
Oh, what the fuck is this? There's a computer in my face.
So let's talk about the big lessons that we've learned over the years. In case you're actually like not wanting to hear us bitch and moan about war stories and actually want to maybe
like
do
a
something
you
like this on
problem.
your own.
We could actually, we can go back to Radio Statler in the booth and do more war stories after this.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and we will bring all of our
All of our
refreshing
alcohol will be traveling down with us to the Radio Statler booth. Please feel free to accompany us.
Leave no alcohol behind.
Yeah.
There we go.
So lessons learned real quick. The first one is content
we
is
may
king.
run a few over.
When we first started, we were really super focused on all the technical stuff. We wanted to figure out like how we're gonna get audio from 18 down to the mezzanine
And how are we
mix
going to automate this and make it so the music comes up automatically? And
Yeah. And
oh wait, shit! Don't we need something to actually put on the air?
Yeah,
This is
the
boring.
truth is it really doesn't fucking matter if
Does
you
it
don't
change?
have really good content. So you need to be getting great speakers, great content, and entertain people.
It doesn't matter if you're sitting there, as we've joked before, with a tape recorder and a microphone, or if you've got an expensive high-end system.
High five.
If you've got shit on the air, nobody's going to care. If you've got awesome original stuff from cool speakers, from cool people at the con, from interesting groups, they're not going to care what the quality is. They're not going to care how it's done. They're going to enjoy it.
Yep. The other thing is plan on failure. As I think we've illustrated far
I don't know
enough.
if plan on failure is the right.
No, so
Plan for failure.
You count
Well, no.
on failure.
So-
you plan for failure.
So there are going to be stuff. There's going to be stuff that goes wrong when you're doing this live. There's going to be equipment that fails. There's going to be guests that people that are
No
supposed
show.
to do a show that just don't show up. But bigger than that.
I told you I was drunk.
There are going to be years where it sucks. Like we've had years where none of us were really proud of what we put on there.
Speak for yourself.
I think we've always had.
I've not had any of those.
Since the person telling us the time was also the person
Twice.
who ate about 10 minutes of our time, I think.
Sorry, give me 5 more.
Thank you.
All right.
Bernie, do you need a drink? How much of this
All right.
gets
Bernie,
us
Bernie,
5 minutes?
You still have the cider, right?
I finished the cider.
So
We got some
so we have
Kraken.
plan on
He's
failure.
still walking
There's a
straight.
Bud Light.
One of the other things with plan on failure is
A full cup is 20 minutes.
so.
Just
Hold on.
No, I can't do that.
One of the things.
So we have a director of the deep web who's ready to screen us.
oh shit.
Yes, which is why we're trying to.
Alex Winter is waiting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you for another minute.
Sorry,
I
Alex.
usually say that
Bernie.
he's more important
We
than
love
us.
you.
So one of the things with plan on failure, which I think was also important, is it's not just about, hey, this might fail. Let's think about a backup. It's if you plan that something will go wrong, not necessarily this thing might go wrong, but you plan that stuff will go wrong. You make backup plans. You say, not this piece of equipment will fail. What will we fail back to? You go.
How can we work around
How can we
this?
work around anything that goes wrong? How
right.
can we
You
make
don't
backup
bank
plans?
on equipment failure. You go process failure, situation failure.
You
This
say-
process will fail. What do we do in that case?
And that's the best thing you can do with something like this because you've got volunteers. You have people who aren't being paid, people who are doing this out of the goodness of the heart, people who are doing it to have fun.
Well, you look good
Things
on TV.
happen.
Then we have simplify.
Hang on.
Simplify your
Imposing.
setup. So the best thing that we ever did was we made the decision that we were going to do what we call radio station in a box, which is we have a box
It was
and
really hot
and a
in that
bin
box.
full of stuff that doesn't fit in the box, and we roll that in, we plug it in, and it's pretty much ready to go. And that has saved our ass so many
Repeatedly.
times.
And simplify doesn't just mean equipment. It can also mean content. I mean,
Yep.
having a person come down and talking to them about, not what they talked about at the con, but talking to them about their past.
That's
talking to them
my
about
favorite thing.
How
I'm
did
going
you
to
get-
wreck
How did you get into
Corey.Caro
computers?
tomorrow.
What brought you to this kind of thing? These are simple questions. They don't require complex stuff. They don't require tons of guests. They don't require tons of interviewers. And you get some really awesome answers. You get some things which are really let you better know these people.
Yeah, because I'm not going to go up there and just ask them a bunch of questions about what they already talked about in their keynote speech or whatever. I'm going to ask them who they had a crush on in the second grade, which is an amazing question. I'm going to ask them, I'm going to go look on their Wikipedia page and find the most obscure garbage and then ask them about that.
Or you just ask them something that is outside of their field. That gets
Yeah,
them
so
going.
11 a.m. or 11:30 tomorrow, if you guys want to listen to me like grilled Corey Doctorow. Corey Doctorow.
Drink more. Drink more.
Corey Doctorow about his invention of open cola. Who knows what open cola is?
So
one dude. So I don't think Corey's expecting me to ask about that. I hope he's not watching. But
all right.
Yeah.
So then we have the next point. Always bring extra.
Things
again,
break.
Things break.
People don't show up.
Things take longer than expected. You need more people.
Our panel is a perfect example.
Always need extra time, money, people, all that good stuff.
Booze. Hookers, Coke.
Always extra booze. Then just remember, people really want to be on the radio.
People like to be involved in things.
I don't think we've ever gone to somebody and asked them to be on the radio, and they were like, "No, I don't want to."
No, I had that problem all the time when you were having me do man on the street stuff. When I take the mic out and be like, hey, just find some people and talk to them, see if it's their first time at Hope or whatever. Nearly everyone I talk to, they'd be like, I don't know what.
They all thought we were feds for some strange reason, like NSA, spy
We'll also have a
something.
mic, and I'm like, hey, is this your first time here? Tell me about it.
But generally, people
And then they're like,
people
I'm
really get
15,
excited
I need
about
my
this,
mom.
and people that you wouldn't expect to be interested are always interested. One of my favorite highlights from last time was Daniel Ellsberg gave the keynote, and he refused interviews for all the media outlets except for us, because he was really excited.
Yeah.
He was like, "This is really awesome."
And he was cool as shit.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
And remember that it may not.
Do you
just
remember
be
when he
radio.
did the quarter in the ear trick to the little kid?
Yeah.
So he's right before he has to do an interview, we're trying to get him in, come on, hey, we got to get in the air, can you, Mr. Come on, and I'm in the booth and I'm like, where's this guy at? This is happening. This is legitimate. And Bunny opens the door and she goes, he's doing magic tricks for a little girl.
It was adorable.
And all of us were like,
Okay.
and then we looked out there and he was doing the fucking quarter in the ear trick for this little kid whose mind was blown, and we were like, okay, we can wait. That's completely legitimate. That's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Amazing. And this guy was like the guy who made whistleblowing famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, he was the person who released the Pentagon Papers and basically blew the lid off the Vietnam War and a lot of the shady things that were being done.
Yeah, he was like the Bernie Sanders of the 60s. And he was here. And we got to interview him. And he was totally open to that and really cool and laid back like a Bernie Sanders would be. But then, like, he was delayed because he was doing, like, quarter-in-the-ear magic tricks for the 6-year-old right in front of the Radio Statler booth. And we were like...
When you do things like this, when you give people an opportunity to show sides for themselves that they normally won't, you find out amazing things about people. You find out that people who are often really reserved in life may open up and show a whole new side of themselves on a radio. You may see that people who are overly gregarious and, you know, always talking over everyone else may sit there and only have very insightful things to say. They may stop and let everyone else talk and then go, well, here's my thought.
Oh, they'll choke you because you're wearing cat ears. Yeah, and that's what we've always striven to do on Radio Statler, even though like we come across striven.
Drink more. Drink.
Do we drink
Scooter.
for striven? Every Shakespearean verb that's invented by Johnny Christmas, you have to take a drink. We've always striven to do that because again, we're not going to make them repeat what they already did in their talk. We want to ask them about who they are. And like that sounds like corny and cheesy up front, but it's worked out incredibly well. I've gotten to talk to some incredible people and ask them questions about the dumbest crap that has had the best answers I've ever heard in my life. And that's like when I come to Hope now, I look forward to working with Radio Statler. Like this is what I spend most of my time on because I love doing this. And it's because of that. You know, we get to talk to Adam Savage and not be like, so tell me more about what it's like working on Mythbusters. But I can be like, what were your favorite books when you were 8? And
it's really incredible. I mean, it's not just about speakers either. It's about everyone. I mean, everyone's got unique skills, and sometimes they don't have the abilities to express it on a normal basis. So you may be able to say, people who normally don't have the opportunity.
Why do they keep putting the camera on him? Like, we need more beaches.
Yeah, we can use some beaches too. But
Let's look at beaches, guys.
Right.
like you may have people who don't have the opportunity to express certain skill sets that are innate in them.
Thank
that
you.
They've cultivated.
I know.
Okay, so it's one of those things where it may take effort, and especially if you want to start running
It's the
something
kiss
like
cam.
that. Hey guys,
Now's
we
the
got
time
like
to show
2
your
minutes left.
tattoos. Now show the tattoo.
Friendship is magic.
So
Statler love, ladies and gentlemen.
So one of the things you really want to keep in mind when you want to do something like run, whether it's a radio station or another kind of event, something where you're bringing people together, where you're bringing volunteers in, people who don't do these kind of things for a living, people have innate strengths. They may not know they have them. You may put someone in a situation where they're like, I've never managed people before, and say, hey, I have these 20 people who need to get shit done. Go make it happen. And they can find out that, hey, I'm really good at this. So doing things like this, you may take risks. You may have to keep an eye on people and help them learn what they're good and bad at. But when you find people's strengths, I mean, Beaches, how many times had you cultivated content for a radio station or for like on-air stuff before you came to Statler?
Before I came to Statler?
Yeah.
Absolutely 0 goddamn times.
Oh.
And you learned that you were pretty friggin' incredible at it. I mean, Johnny, well, you already were awesome beforehand, so you already kind of knew it.
I just worked here. Also, I didn't work here.
It'd be nicer to say that we refined it.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
So we're about to be kicked off
We're
because
gonna be
you know
kicked
we
off.
had a lot of the early part of our talk eaten. So I mean, there are some awesome things you can do. Whether it's a radio station, whether it's a new kind of project, it's getting people involved at an event, getting people involved outside of events, doing things when events are ending, making people make something, getting people to bring ideas together. It's really rewarding. I mean, it's a fuck ton of work, and I swear to God, I'm kind of glad it only happens every 2 years because
In order to do this
it
live,
ages you.
Yeah.
But it's really incredible to be able to help make these kind of things happen, and it's really incredible to see what other people will bring to the table.
And it's just shocking and alarming to see so many people in the audience.
Yeah.
Because really, when we do the podcast,
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Son of a bitch. All right, we'll leave. We're on it here.
We love you too.
We're Radio Statler. Come drink with us.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night,
Thank you,
everybody.
Peace. Come get some
Cooter.
T-shirts and shit upstairs. Downstairs.